Brianna Bebb. I'm the director at Our Town Belfast, for those of you who don't know me yet. Our Economic Restructuring Committee, which is chaired by Thomas Kittredge, has been working on putting on some of these events where we get the business community together to learn something, to talk about something. And tonight we're talking about doing business online. Mike Hurley, as you all know Mike probably, has been integral in planning this event. We also want to have that up. We just launched our own new website today, which I think is working already a lot better than our old one. And one of the things that we want to do is have a Shop Belfast page. So for those of you who have business online, we can link to your site so that people will know where to go to get Belfast items 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. And so hopefully I can learn something tonight from many of our presenters and get that working for us. And Mike, do you want to take it away? Sure. Thanks for coming.
So why are we doing this? Why did we identify this program? Very quickly, 2 years ago, we've done this survey every year. 2 years ago, it was like 60% of people said they had websites, but when you looked at the individual surveys, and we don't spread them around, even though they're anonymous, what you could see was that the people who had websites and who were on Facebook were like 500% more likely to be doing well and to be optimistic and to be thinking business was doing good. And the people who didn't have websites and weren't using the web and weren't using Facebook were 500% more likely. It was just night and day how clear it was. This year, we did a lot better. Almost 100%, by the way, of respondents this year in the survey had a website, are using Facebook. They're, by and large, they're not using them. I think it's still under 25% who actually uses a website to sell anything, as opposed to be able to be found or to promote a sale or something like that. But what really got us going here was that there was a new store came to town recently, and I was talking to another retailer, and they immediately said, you know, oh, those people, they're going to hurt my business, they're competing against me. And, you know, I just looked at them and I said, no, you know, who's hurting your business is the internet. And that's where people are shopping. And this is a particular type of business, and since we don't have a bookstore here, I will tell you it was a bookstore. But, you know, Amazon is your competition if you are in the bookstore business. And and by the way, you can't buy a book online at any bookstore in Belfast unless they're putting them on eBay. The other thing was that why we're looking at this as a huge opportunity for people is, you know, we just had thousands of people come to Belfast over this summer, and a lot of those people want to shop here. Too often they just can't. If they go back to, you know, Annapolis, Maryland, and they'd like to shop, they can't do it. So anyway, so we're going to have a quick introduction here, and we've got 5 people, and each one of them is going to speak for about 8 minutes. And I want to start with Ellie Daniels, who was, oh, you put me on first. And I go, yep, you're on first because you're good. So Ellie Daniels from the Green Store, come on up. Thank you.
I'm Ellie Daniels, and we opened the Green Store in November of 1993. And when I was asked to whether I might like to present tonight, I thought it might be really kind of fun. I've been serving on the Economic Restructuring Committee with Our Town Belfast, and this subject of how to use the internet for our advantage, especially how to plug into Facebook for our sales and for marketing your business, is one that people have a lot of interest in. I want to tell you that when I opened the Green Store, I didn't even know how to email. And I'm thinking that if the people in this room are to think back, that most of us weren't on email in 1993. So that's just a little clue as to how quickly we've had to learn so much. In fact, one of my favorite bumper stickers at the Green Store, which the Green Store is kind of famous for, is one that says, "Oh no, not another learning experience." And that's kind of been my experience with technology, with the internet. It started with email. It started with our first website that we put up in the year 2002. You know, the question here, was it hard? Yes, it was hard. It was hard because pretty much everything technological is a new adventure for people of my generation, and I dare say most of our generation out here. I'm self-taught, and I began my learning experience by taking advantage of free consulting, and there's a lot of it around in Maine for small businesses. I happen to have done it through Coastal Enterprises Incorporated, and they taught me a lot about the concepts of using the web to the advantage of my business. How much does it cost? You know, how much does it cost to set it up, and how much does it cost to run? Well, initially, this, by the way, is my third generation website, and this was launched last winter. My first generation website was a very static kind of a thing. I think it was, I wouldn't have called it state of the art for the times, but it was fairly ahead of the curve. It wasn't some clunky old thing. It was attractive. I couldn't modify or change or input anything myself into it. I needed a technician to do that. And initially we spent about $5,000 getting it up there, securing our URL, putting, I didn't do any sales through it. It was basically a marketing kind of a tool. It included some graphic design and some site placement support. Presently, I am in a very accessible, you can laugh at me if I use the wrong terminology, because I don't know. I think it's called a mainframe, is that correct? The sort of a template for your, is it called a mainframe? Okay. None of us know. Okay, okay. If you get the idea that I don't know a lot about this stuff, I know just maybe a little bit more than somebody who hasn't yet put up a website, and I've been doing it for quite a few years now. 10 years. Our present ongoing costs for our site are about $500 a year. And this is for hosting and for our security certificate, because we do sales on our web. And in addition, I hired a marketing person who is very savvy with my web stuff. She does about $400 a month work for me, keeping the search engines loaded, posting it to Facebook, coordinating and developing my advertising, my whole advertising thing, all of which is coordinated with my website and with my Facebook page. And basically sending out some marketing e-blasts to my customer database. I collect customer data in through my website. I have about 5,000 customers in my website that I have access to. But I find that I have to be very careful not to overuse that linkage, because my customers don't want to get a lot of direct stuff from me. Do I do it myself? How much time do people put in on it? Basically, yes, the entry of products into my website is something that I started with my second generation website. And that was a site that I had designed by a web designer that had done some other work for me for another business. She basically built me a form where I could input my pictures that I mostly pulled off of the web. Sometimes I went to my manufacturers for pictures and stored them, filed them on my computer, and uploaded them into my website. And then another page where I did writing about my products. How do you write about products? Well, this is a whole education in itself, and I've learned a lot about technical writing, which is basically, if you don't write well about what you're selling on the web, it's a one big fat headache. Because when the customer gets the product and it's not what it seemed to be from the way you wrote about it, they're not happy with you, and they will not come back to you again. So Technical writing for a website has to do with, in an attractive and engaging and exciting way, talking about the size, shape, feel, smell, color, texture, function, functionality, recyclability, sustainability, blah, 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 all the green terms of whatever you're selling.
Could you click through pages while you're talking?
Yes, I can.
Switch
I can.
pages.
Yeah.
What
So.
you said was great. I just love to see some of these other things.
Yeah, okay. So household essentials. So basically, here we are, and to talk a little bit about the way that I laid my website out, I really wanted to capture what it was about the feel and the emotion of my store and convey it to my customer who is out there. So our store is a little bit funky, it's down to earth, it's a very kind of feeling sort of place. People come in, they feel at home, they feel good. So here we are in household essentials, and we can select a subcategory, and some things have kind of cute names like wash the dishes. If we want to wash the dishes, you could come in and you could take a look and you could decide you wanted a bamboo dish rack in there. And here it is. This is just a picture that I've pulled off another website. And I've done a little bit of writing about it. And while they're there, they might also want to take a look at these other related products, which are any of these dish mops or dish brushes and so forth. So there's what that looks like to come into it. They can put it in their cart and walk away with it. Again, you don't ever want to have a page where you have to do so much scrolling down that you lose the person. Sometimes you go into a website and there's so much scrolling that nobody will ever follow you down to the bottom. Snack taxi, the coolest way to reduce, reuse, and recycle. Well, what's in that little phrase right there are several really important meta tags for my search engines that are actually bringing people to that product when they search for that. So technical writing also has a lot to do with knowing what kinds of unique search terms you can incorporate into your descriptions of your product, and have a better chance at having somebody come to your website instead of someone else's website. I like a little bit of humor in my writing. Why do our customers enjoy basking in this limelight? Its luminescent space-age lighting material is so energy efficient that even if it was used nonstop for a full year, it would use only 3 cents of electricity. I'm going to buy it. Now I want to go back up onto my home page here and show you another way that I've had an opportunity here on the home page to advertise a hot item, to advertise some other sort of items by department, and also to kind of have a map right here of what you might be looking for if people scroll down that way. I'm always at risk on my website. This is a pretty inexpensive mainframe, if I'm using that right word. People do have to do a little bit of scrolling to get around, and you can lose people that way. One of the challenges is that you're competing on the web with very big companies, and so do you try to look like a big company? Well, if you have, you know, $30,000 or $50,000 to spend on your website, you can try to look like a big company and have all the bells and whistles on your website. But I didn't have that, so I had to really hone in on what is unique about me, about my store, about Maine, about Belfast. It's important that I have our town Belfast up there. It's important that I have the right images, the right language. Over here, click to like us on Facebook. I have a place where I can put upcoming events in downtown Belfast. And I can put sales and specials up there, and I can also have people subscribe if they want to get emails from us.
Without further ado, Carl from Bay City Cargo.
I'm going to tell a little story about how Bay City Cargo, the eBay website, came to be. As you know, Mike and Therese own the Colonial Theater, and I guess several years ago, how many years has it been, Mike? 4 years ago, were changing their marquee and had all these old marquee letters. And whoever was working for them at the time, Mike says, put them up on eBay. And I guess they immediately sold. So it's like, oh, there's something here. You know, people want to buy marquee letters. Over here is just an example of some new marquee letters to give you an idea of what do we sell. I started working with Mike in the end of February when Rick was still with us, and back then we had a combination of, we had about 150 items, combination of the marquee letters, we carry both vintage and up to new letters. Some of our letters as old as 70 years old, and old metal, and some of them new. And we also carried a lot of Moroccan stuff that Mike got overseas when he went to Morocco many years ago. But since in these past few months, that our business is built up enough where we just narrowed it down just to the marquee letters now. And one of the reasons why has that happened? Mike and I have been talking about why has our business grown. There's a marker on our administrative homepage of how much business we've done in the last 120 days. And I'm not saying it's because of me, but it's because of many things we do. That number has tripled since I started there. Raise. And some of the things that why eBay? Why don't I want to have why don't I just develop my own store, my own eBay website? What eBay does for us is that it's there. eBay they do everything. They're always upgrading their website. I just go in there, I took it, and I have the template where I put in my item. As Ellie said, the description a lot of times is going to make it. My pictures, where you see the letters, I take those with my iPhone. I discovered my iPhone was the best camera I could possibly use, nothing more than my iPhone. I'm going to click on one of the letters. This is one of our best-selling letters, and to give you an idea of what item we have, and also we just hit 99% satisfaction. My goal is 100%. Get that $10,000 bonus this Christmas. And one of the things I discovered with on eBay is I wanted to give it more bold. When I came, we had just black font. We had very simple descriptions, and I discovered I'm a social worker clinician by profession. So I started looking at perception. What's going to attract people and make them stay there? Because who's ever been on a website and they look at it like they're, why bother, and then you click to another website? Has anybody ever been on eBay before? You don't have to admit it. Anybody ever bought anything on eBay? Okay. And it can be a good experience, it can be a bad experience. One of the things I want to show you is this is where our customers are, where we sell to. Other countries, Europe. The one I want to show you is Russia. I had a customer a few weeks ago. He's here. He bought letters from me. These are where our customers are. They come looking for this. How do they find us? And one of the things that Mike has done over the last couple of years is purchased website names. What's the formal name for that? URLs for different words that when people Google that word, like big sign letters, marquee letters, let's see some of them. When they Google certain things, our goal is to have those and have them hopefully go to our website. Some people are just on eBay surfing through and they'll see our pictures pop up and they'll say, oh, that looks pretty cool. Who do we sell to? We sell to parents who want to they want to have letters up on their newly born child's bedroom. Some of our more recent customers that are repeat customers. Who likes repeat customers? Who wants people to come back? A designer in Charlotte, North Carolina, who designs office space for business people. A television radio show in New York City called the Nick and Artie Show. See those letters up there? Those came from Bay City Cargo. How did they find us? They found us by Googling on the web or going to eBay. We've since sold a couple $1,000s worth of letters to these people, and it's not so much the people who are coming to us once, it's the repeat customers who are becoming an important part of our business. When I send an order out, I have these Rolodex cards that have our website and all our information on it. I put my business cards in there. We have stickers we put on the back of the letters that will say big sign letters that have a website on there. I'm now getting people coming to us who are saying, well, so-and-so told us about you or we heard about you. and we're building a customer base. So our customer base isn't just in downtown Belfast. We do have occasionally people, they'll come to Belfast and go to our warehouse, and probably nobody knows where our warehouse is. I'm not going to tell you. And people from Russia, people from Australia, some of our today I sent orders to London, I sent orders to Australia, New Zealand, all over the United States, and a lot of these people are coming back. Is eBay the only way to do it? No, it's working for us. And also that eBay they make sure we're doing what we're supposed to do. The one thing that you might see as a drawback is that I want to be honest with you, is that once they have a rule that once they start inquiring about a product on eBay, it's against their policy to complete that order outside of eBay. I won't say there are ways to get around that, because I would never say that in front of my mother. But so one of the things we do, the business cards, is they'll start contacting us directly. So we've got some of those customers, they'll bypass eBay, call us up and say, what do you got? I get messages almost every day. They're like, okay, we need, or an email from our Bay City Cargo website, which is the one before we clicked from to our eBay website. And they'll click on info at baycitycargo.com and saying, we're looking for this. It's immediate, and we get that email, I contact them. The customer service, one of my big things is the customer service immediacy. It goes to my iPhone, I respond hopefully within hours, if not within 24 hours to them. I take photographs. Who wants to go online and buy something they can't see? With these letters, one of the things that's been important to our customers is that I'm photographing these letters. They'll say, I want love to put on for my wife's anniversary, to put on our wall in our bedroom or on the patio. I'll go over to the warehouse, I'll photograph those, send them a picture. They get to see exactly what they want. Anybody ever gotten something that it's not exactly what they want? Because they're vintage marquee letters, some of the older ones, they might not be exactly what they're expecting. That's when I go back and I say, okay, well, how can we make this right? And who's my best teacher about how to do what we do? The customers, because they're the ones who can either make or break us. So do we do refunds? Okay, if eBay isn't perfect, it charges too much for shipping sometimes because they're basing it on whatever criteria the customer puts in there or we put in there. And one of the things we do is if they overpay on shipping, I immediately go to PayPal and I give them a refund. They're going to notice that. This is our eBay. This is where I manage our eBay website from. Okay, this tells me, for example, what have I sold in the last 24 hours? 7 days, 30 days, 90 days. This is the figure. Used to be under $5,000. I'm proud to say that it's now over $17,000. Our messages from our customers come from here. eBay recently, I kept wanted to send pictures to the customers of what I want to send them. eBay recently updated where I can actually send pictures through their website rather than going outside through my email. eBay can, they're very good at updating things, and they're always they'll give us free sessions by phone on how to make it better. They'll put things up here, listing improvement recommendations. How can we make our listings more attractive? Active awaiting shipment, and it was kind of easy for me to learn because I was comfortable with computers, comfortable with dealing with people. The cost, the amount of time, for example, when I come in the morning, the first thing I do is I print out the orders that are ready to go out that day. That's my priority, and after they're printed out and I get them set up, then I go through, because a customer might have sent me a message about their order. I go in and I read those messages to make sure that I don't drop the ball so that they're trying to communicate with me, where eBay isn't always easy for everybody, so they might have wanted to combine shipping, but they accidentally paid for 5 items, but it didn't come through the combined shipping. So they'll message me and I can go back and I can change that, or I can refund the money. The communication part is most important. We have what we call a basic store. I think we pay $49.95 a month for our basic store. For each listing we make, it's 20 cents a month for each listing we make. You can get, I think it's called a premium store for another 20 bucks a month, and it all depends on how many listings you have. eBay takes a percentage of everything you sell. Okay, that's their part. And then we also, most of our customers are going to pay through PayPal. PayPal takes a percentage too. That's why we love it when somebody calls us directly. And this is what we're seeing more and more of, like with this Nick and Artie show. These people call us directly now, and they're usually spending hundreds, if not $1,000. Other costs associated with doing this online, ping me. And they're very helpful about what they do. The PayPal and eBay almost always works really well. There's sometimes when there are glitches. When I complete a purchase on eBay, it automatically transfers the tracking number over into PayPal. That way they can go to PayPal, or they can go to, and they communicate with each other. There are times when they don't do that perfectly, but none of them are perfect.
How many hours do you spend on this?
I work this is my full-time job. This is my full-time job, and it takes my 40 hours plus a week because of the business we've built up. And one of the things I'm always trying to do is think of some of the distributors we have. We buy vintage letter lots from movie theaters. Will call us. We go on eBay ourselves and look for lots of letters that people are selling, so that we can keep in stock a variety. My goal is to keep a variety of both vintage and new cool stuff. You know, who's ever had a magenta @ sign? Everybody know what an @ sign is, like in your email address? I can get those in magenta. I mean, so I try to keep it colorful and keep a variety there. Thank you.
Thank you, Carl.
I'm awfully humbled with the creativity that we just saw, and what I'm going to be talking about is basically a programmed for my type of business that we buy. So it's let me go to Google. We've had a website for, I don't know, maybe 3 years. We've had the business, we've owned it for about nearly 6. We've had the website for a little over 3, and a shopping cart, which I'll talk about, for maybe a year and a half, maybe even a little bit more than a year and a half, and it's still, I consider it still in the development stage. What I'm going to do is talk first about our shopping cart, go through that a little bit, and then Susan is going to do the social media part of it and how we're trying to integrate the two a bit better. I have with me a list of our URLs, and you can use, because we're all under the banner of St. Peter Ventures Inc., you can use countycopycenter.com, Belfast Office Supply when you do it right, even Main Coast Photo. You'll see that our home page is it is the combination. If I want to see the county copy page, I go to this tab here, and I get a little bit of county copy, and it's a little bit of how we've evolved. We've used PhD Consulting as our web source, our hosting party, and it's been fairly static. We have some features on county copy that you can email larger, you can use You Send Us to be able to submit larger volumes. This sends your file one. Main Coast Photo gets you the major feature here is like Snapfish or Gallery. You can, I shouldn't have done that. You can upload photos and pick them up, the prints, at the shop. In fact, we're trying to encourage more usage of that now. Then when you go, we're on the Boss homepage. I won't go to JCPenney, but it is linked to the jcpenney.com site, and that of course has its own e-commerce or shopping site. And with that, you can order from National JCPenney. One thing it offers here is you can have your products delivered to Belfast Office Supply for free shipping, whether it's over 50 or under 50, and pick it up when you're in town. So it's a little extra convenience, and we talk about JCPenney some other time, but we also do returns for people at no cost. The feature here is, once we've done Belfast Office Supply homepage, and then we can go to the shopping site, and in this instance, we'll use guest and guest. I'm not going to remember the password here. So with it, you can browse, and I won't take the time to browse, but I will say that with this system, we've purchased it through a company called Red Cheetah. Red Cheetah is one of 2 or 3 companies which service the office supply industry only. So it isn't something that another type of store would want to use, but there may be something in your own trade. What it does is access the 35,000 items that are sold from our distributor, and there are several major distributors, 2 of them in particular. One is SP Richards, which is what we use. So it really accesses this full catalog and comes up with prices that we have a lot of flexibility in setting. We know that our competition is not, particularly in this town, is not another office supply store. We know that sometimes the perception is that Belfast Office Supply, the prices are higher than some others, although we get a number of favorable comments, particularly in comparing with the drugstores, Rite Aid, Walgreens, that our prices are equal or lower. And people are surprised when they see that. But we know that our real competition, like Mike talked about, Amazon and eBay, our competition, even for people in the greater Belfast area, is Staples, WB Mason, even Office Depot, which has no presence and nobody running around, but they have that online presence. So what we are trying to do is establish an online shopping availability where the prices are lower than they are in the store. And we make sure they're lower because we don't have the same overhead cost that we do have to have in the store. We don't have rent, we don't have the staffing needs, so on. There's a question about the payment that Mike had on the list. We use a credit card company called Solveris, primarily because this company recommended it and they have a tie-in, so you can order online with credit cards. We don't have very much of that. Has this paid off for us yet? Not really. There are some challenges that we're trying to work with, get more people to use it, obviously. Our social media piece, Susan is working on. So
this is our home, our Facebook page, and I think Facebook is really great for the local stores to be able to develop that local thing, especially if you have, so many competition like the Staples. People will go to that, but if they start to connect with you, I know Dee's store, she sells bras, and I get catalogs all the time at home for bras, but she's my friend. She's a friend on Facebook. I'm aware of what her business is doing, so I wouldn't want to do something that would hurt my friend by not going to her shop, which is really lazy, to just go downtown and shop at things rather than doing them by catalog. So what we're doing is we're doing a little promotion, Facebook promotion, and we bought into, it's $50 to start Facebook promotion, and you send out a little ad and you circle, you tell it where you want to go, and we want to go to all the consumers within the zip code, and there's like 8,000 people, so it goes within a 100-mile range. And so when people in that are looking at their Facebook page, our little ad pops up on the side, and we have a coupon. This coupon is going up and popping up and saying, you know, our friends like us, come be our friend, and you can get this coupon and print it out and go get 10% off your ink cartridges, which makes them very competitive. And, oh, there's the coupon. Then we also have partnered or doing the marketplace with the Bangor Daily Mid-Coast, and also my other favorite store, Your Mama's Place, is doing it too, so we see those. So we have a little program going on here, and it's we're talking about our friends, and they love to save money and go to become our friend and then get the coupon. And we also have a coupon on this for paper, I think. I can't find it now. And so we promote that too as well on the Facebook. So we're going back and forth trying to promote these things. And so we've got, in just 2 weeks, we've gotten 22 friends, starting with none. And I've noticed with other Facebook promotions I've done for other little businesses, usually it's about $1 per friend. You end up spending about $1 per friend. And if you, with a $50 thing, you usually end up with about 50 friends. And then after that, because it begins to snowball, because the people who are your friends, people see it on their Facebook page, and it begins to snowball. And so I haven't done any more campaigns on Facebook with some of the little, like the Belfast yoga studio. We just did one campaign. They got 50 people, cost $50, and then their friends started seeing it. Whenever I did a post, and if the person liked the post, all their friends would see it. So we put up really neat things. Like I did that post on the Belfast office supply about the support the local, and some people put it up. And so when they put it on their page, oh, I like that, then their friends saw it and they said, oh, we didn't know Belfast office supply has a Facebook page, and if people shop there, they usually want to be part of it. So although it's still young, it's only 22 people, so I'm not doing a lot of posts. I think you want to develop your Facebook for a while before you start doing regular posts.
So everybody's been talking about, and I'm going to go, and then Nicole will go. Everybody's been talking about various things that are platforms, and I just want to show you, this is one that Pica suggested to us, and it's called Shopify Go. And this is hey, how do you have if you wanted to go and get a website set up for yourself, there are, I don't know that there's millions of these platforms, but there are certainly hundreds, and there's less than dozens that are really good. And anytime you want to find out, you just, what I did was, after somebody recommended this, I just Googled best shopping cart website provider on Google, and Shopify came up #1. There's others, and eBay is one of them. eBay provides a store. You can go in, you can set it all up. It's very easy, and so Amazon has stores now. Everybody's got them. And what Terry just showed you, on like JCPenney, for instance, if you go to the back of almost any page like this, you'll find a thing somewhere buried in here called associate marketing. And of course now I can't even find it, but what it does is, if you click on it and send it to your friends, and eBay has it. Okay, I'm not going to do this. eBay has them. All this associate marketing, it enables you to basically, you can set up a store by using their stuff rather than your own. So the one thing that I cringe at, and I've had a lot of websites built, is when a website developer says to you, no, I can build it. That's a danger sign. There's so many great programs that are already built for these shopping carts, etc., that usually that's the road down of ruination, and basically your web designer will be experimenting on your behalf as opposed to assembling a bunch of good parts. And I don't know if you were talking about WordPress or the platform.
Yeah.
That's what yours was.
Yes.
So you don't see it, but you go in the nuts and bolts and it's all there. It's really easy, but I want to go back to, it's not free. Bay City Cargo, we grossed a little over 100,000 last year. We're still just breaking even with costs and everything, but we're inching up over it. It takes, like Carl said, he works more than full time at it. I work at it. Other people work on it. We have, you still have nuts and bolts. You still have to rent a storage space. Still got to buy boxes and tape and pay electricity. So it's not free. It's another way of doing business. And the idea that you're going to do it painlessly doesn't exist. It takes time. And either you need employees who are going to take care of it, and you probably don't have the time because you're already, most of us, working full-time anyway. So how to justify those sales is the critical thing. I'm now going to get down and bring up Nicole, who does this 24/7. Thank you.
So my name is Nicole. I have a web development business. Honestly, I really like the marketing, and I got taken kicking and screaming into web development because honestly, when you market something, just like a lot of these presenters talked about, when you're doing something to promote and someone goes to the website and it's not there, it's a little bit confusing. So I found that it was nice to have the control over what things looked like on the website if I was going to be able to market it well. So do both now. I wasn't sure what people were going to talk about. It's one of those things when you're with a group of people and you don't know what they're going to talk about. Forgot to start my timer. 1 second. You guys are going to hear the marimba when I'm done here. I practiced it, so it should be 8 minutes. But basically, what I thought I would talk about is if I was a small business owner who didn't do this, what would I want to know about this? And what I thought was maybe there's 3 different ways that we can think about this. One is doing e-commerce on your own website. So that means from the beginning, from when someone sees a product to the thank you for your purchase transaction, everything happens on your domain. That is the most ideal thing. That is the most expensive thing. So I start with the hardest, most expensive thing, and I go to the easiest thing. The other way that you can do e-commerce, which we just heard about, is you can have e-commerce that is not on your website. So basically using a third-party service like Shopify, you can do e-commerce on social media. And what that does is that takes that final financial transaction, or it takes the whole process of buying something off of your domain. It could be connected to your domain, but it's not on it. So there's a little shop link, someone clicks on it, they go somewhere else, they give their payment information. Because that's what a majority of the ongoing costs are, so that you can take payment on a website. Because you know what, when someone gives a credit card number, that's gotta be a safe place for them to do it. And then I have something called instead of e-commerce. I'm the master of this. I don't have e-commerce on my website. I don't do enough transactions. I wish I did enough transactions. I'm a service-based business, so I don't take a lot of small payments from people. But I do have some things set up on my website that help that when people call, they're ready to buy. And ideally, whether you decide to do e-commerce on your website or not, that's where you want to get people to, is that they're calling you and saying, I want to buy this, not, what kind of sandwiches do you have for your lunch special? Or you want them, when they contact you, whether it's by phone or email, to be ready to buy. So, e-commerce on a website. First of all, there's some initial setup costs. The cheapest person I know will do it for $1,000. He happens to be in India, but he'll do it. But you're going to pay somebody some setup costs, and I'll be honest, it's a pain in the butt to set up an e-commerce website. In terms of like going to the dentist, and I'm trying to think of other unpleasant tasks. It's in there in terms of my web development day. setting up the e-commerce part, you're testing stuff in browsers, you're making the secure, I don't know. There's just a lot of moving parts. So it's a bit of a pain in the butt. We have to charge for it. I'm sorry. Besides the setup costs, there are these ongoing costs which are associated with being able to accept credit cards. The first ongoing cost is a yearly cost. It's called a secure certificate. It's that little padlock, bottom website. You've seen it before, HTTPS. Okay, when someone gives their credit card, it needs to be a secure transaction. So I've seen secure certificates for $10. I've seen them for a couple $100s or more. Basically, you want a secure certificate that lines up with what you buy. Honestly, if I'm buying a $10 mug, or if I'm buying a $10,000 couch, I'm going to need different levels of security to feel safe putting in my credit card number for that. So, with most people, I kind of just shoot for the middle, get a middle secure certificate. That's a yearly cost. Another cost is being able to accept credit cards, whatever payment gateway you decide to use. I picked PayPal Pro as an example. There are any number of ones. If you do have merchant services through your store, maybe there is a way for you to do this more cheaply since you combine the two. But just to give you an idea, I think PayPal Pro, I was on vacation up until last night at 7 p.m., so I didn't look this up before I came here. $30-ish a month plus a transaction fee. I believe it might be 30 cents or 3%, I'm not sure, for a transaction. But basically this idea to say that there are setup costs and then there are these ongoing costs, which keeps a lot of small businesses from setting this up right away. Because this is what happens, they come in and they're like, I want an online store. And then I start going over this with them and I can see that I've killed the joy and they're like, no, I'm gonna hold off. Which may or may not be a good idea. The ideal of setting it up yourself is you can control the entire experience. You're not taking them to another place to finish the payment or to do anything. So you can build in some things, like you can build in some integrations so they buy more. Like when you're looking at the store, similar, featured products or similar products. If I'm looking at the bamboo, not the shower curtain, the bamboo drawing rack, and I see these related products, right? That's one way to get people to buy more is, oh, here's some related products. Amazon does it too, it's like, oh, if you like this, you might like this. The other thing you can do is build in social sharing. I've seen some great shopping carts. You do a transaction and it pops up and it says, thanks for buying our product. Get $25 off your next purchase if you share this on Facebook. You can build these kind of things in if you're controlling the experience. You can also do integration so people buy again. So adding an email subscription when someone is paying. It's really interesting. I have a contact form on my site and one of the things is subscribe to our email newsletter. And you have to check it off. Like it's not pre-checked off. And 4 out of 5 people check it off. It's kind of interesting. So having people on an email list allows you to contact them to buy again. Making it so people can register, so they have shared their information. Maybe they can make a wish list. Maybe they can make a little registry. So they go online, they buy. There's someone like me and they dream a little, and then they come back a few months later and ready to buy again. So these integrations to get either the customers you get on your site to buy more, or integrations so that your customers come back and buy again. Repeat, easy, we like that. Also, you can make more money. You're open 24 hours a day, you can accept credit cards, you're open in the off season, all this stuff, right? Yeah, more money, everything's ideal, right? Cons, costs, right? The initial costs to set this thing up are high. Also, you have to maintain it. I literally had to explain once to somebody that you had to actually mail the products out. I don't know what she thought was gonna happen. I'm like, if stuff could jump in boxes and mail itself, I think we would all run that business, wouldn't we? And it takes time to set up. If you approached me in December 1st and were like, I want my web store ready and I want to sell by Christmas, I would be like, you're crazy. I need time to set this up. So it's not one of those things that you can decide one afternoon, I'm gonna do this and finish it. I mean, I guess you could. I couldn't. I need time for this sort of thing. The second option is, how am I doing on time? How am I doing on time? Oh, 2 minutes, oh my God. No, it's fine, I'm just keeping on it. E-commerce not on your own site, right? One way to do this is you can set up an online shopping cart, and all those fees I talked about, that's to accept credit cards on your site. You don't need a secure certificate if you're not doing credit card transactions. You can just have people do PayPal. They can go through the whole thing, and then when they go do the payment, the PayPal screen comes up. Now, people we all do eBay, whatever, but someone like my mom, I set this up once for something I did, and she's like, but Nicole, I don't have PayPal. And I was like, you can pay with a credit card, PayPal, but it's not really obvious if you don't know. So it's something to think about. But you can only accept PayPal, and if your target person is somebody who uses PayPal, there's somebody who uses eBay maybe to do, or there's somebody who's young and hip like me, just kidding. they might get the whole PayPal thing. The other thing that you can do is use third-party software. Shopify, great example. There are other things. I use something called Eventbrite to do my ticket sales. I have a workshop coming up on Friday afternoon. It's going to be lovely. But do I feel like installing something so that people can buy tickets on my site? No. I just use Eventbrite. It takes $1.25 for the transaction of the $25 ticket. I get my payment ahead of time, so if someone doesn't show up, I get my money from my workshop. Big Cartel does artist stuff. You can do ebooks. I mean, basically, if you can think, I want to sell this product online, you can either do a general shopping cart software like Shopify, or you can use something specific to selling your thing. You can also do e-commerce on social media. A lot of people don't realize that. There's Facebook applications you can install on your Facebook page. I don't think people quite get that you can do this yet. I've had it on my site. I don't think people quite understand that you can buy things on Facebook. I think they will get there, though. People are certainly getting there on their cell phones. So if someone can feel safe buying something on this, they probably can feel safe eventually buying on Facebook. The pros, right? You can do some online business, right? Even if not everyone gets PayPal, enough people do. You can save money and time for your customer or yourself. They're relatively quick to set up. And people are already on social media. They're already using these sites. They're already looking around. That's the idea. Or something like eBay. People are already on eBay. So you're not trying to get them to a new thing. You're going where they already are. Cons, it can be a bit clunkier and inconvenient. I think Big Cartel charges like $10 a month to do their thing. Shopify might be similar. Oh my God, my time's up. But basically, you'll pay a monthly fee for this kind of convenience. And in the beginning, that might be okay. I have a friend she's a lawyer in Washington, D.C., but she makes letterpress cards. So for 2 months of the year, she sets up her little letterpress store. I forget what does she use? I think she uses Big Cartel or something. I think that's where I heard of it. But this idea that you can test the waters of e-commerce while still keeping your lawyer job is kind of attractive to people. And I like this instead of e-commerce, so we can sort of avoid something. So let's say that you had a product. Let's say you sold like greenhouses or something, and it's a little bit specialized. On the picture of your ginormous greenhouse, you can have contact us for a price. Now, I wouldn't fill out a contact form for something small like a coffee mug, but I might fill it out. I would probably get it if it was a specialized product. I'd say, maybe they want to have a conversation with me about it, and I kind of understand that. Another thing, and I did this, and honestly, I can't even tell you how excited I am about this. On my website, I have a schedule meeting button. You click the button, and there's my calendar. It's like, I am busy at these times, and if you see a time I'm free you want to meet, you fill in the thing. Bam. I do not have to exchange 10 emails with you. If you cut hair, if you make any sort of consulting things, scheduling is great. If you rent rooms, is room 6 available for Monday night? No, but do you cut all that stuff out. Show it's available, and then when they call you, they're ready to buy. And you can basically use an online service to get something to happen offline. I was in Quebec City this weekend, wanted to go to a restaurant. I looked it up on Yelp, found it. They said, would you like to make a reservation? Great, I don't have to talk to someone in French on the phone. Awesome. So I booked it. They emailed me and confirmed it. I showed up. They knew exactly who I was. It's painless. And more. So basically, doing something is better than doing nothing, no matter what it is you decide to do, even if you decide to do an instead of e-commerce solution.
I think one of the biggest problems is having a good system for being able to fulfill your orders. So I have point of sale software in my store, and then I have my bookkeeping software, which doesn't interface with my point of sale software, and then I have my website, which doesn't interface with either. And so this is a phenomena that I think is not uncommon when you're running a business on a shoestring and you have different generations of softwares that don't talk to each other. So I'm constantly having to really be deliberate about what I put on my website. There's many beautiful things I could put up there, but I can't be assured of getting good resupply of them. I buy from about 300 regular vendors in my store, and so I've really honed it down. I think I have about 350 products on my site. I have 5,000 products in my store, so I'm really deliberate about that. And I have some somewhat manual, person-dependent, meaning me, systems in place to make sure that I keep those things in stock, and that I get onto the website at least once a week and I write out of stock for things that are temporarily out of stock. And I would say that for every 5 or 6 web orders I take in, I'm writing emails to one of those customers to say, that order is, that product is currently on order, you know, we'll ship as soon as it comes in. Some people cancel their orders right then. So it's a problem, the out of stock issues thing. Also, you have to really think through about issues that can be big headaches, such as multiple styles or colors, one-of-a-kind sizes, yes, one-of-a-kind items, how you actually physically organize them in your website, whether you have a drop-down menu, whether you're offering every color in every size. I mean, you could have a drop-down menu that took your whole page. It's really quite difficult whether you've got them organized in your store. Do you have them organized for every size, every color, every cup size, every chest size? I mean, you know, bras, my God. And then the whole thing about being able to write about your product, a good enough description so that people really understand what's the fabric, you know, is it underwire, is it got blah, 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 what kind of fasteners, what kind of straps, you know, everything. It's a big deal. So it's not simple.
Carl, could you talk about inventory a little bit? Because you deal the same way.
Yeah, one of the things I do on a regular basis is just to, whatever's on the eBay website is what I have in my inventory 99% of the time. I have the benefit that one of the things I do is I'll contact a customer, we don't have this, and I'll offer them something else, and I'll say at least 75% of the time somebody is willing to consider it, and so I'll mail them a photograph of something. You know, it's the one thing about when it's letters, okay? It's not like, you know, you have different, you know, for me, I'm not selling bras, but I'm selling the marquee letters, and I can suggest something else. And one of the things I do is ask more questions about exactly what is it, where are you putting it? So I try to keep the customer and offer them something else. And the other thing with, if it's one of these new letters I'm out of stock, it might cost us a little bit more as far as our profit on the sale, but I'll have that item sent directly from the person who makes that for us if it's a new product.
You know, when I handed out this list, and if you look at it, you know, my immediate response to anybody is, if you're going to be on Yahoo, which is number 21, why wouldn't you be on Amazon, which is number 1? And Amazon isn't just in the business of selling books. You go to Amazon, they've got everything on the planet because people have set up all these stores on Amazon's platform. And I have another business that we do a huge amount of business through Amazon. And so it's, you know, Etsy to me is really hard to find, but I want to go back to Dee asked a question it's great to have a website and it's great to have a thing, but how do you get people to find you? And, you know, so I think that's really critical. One of the things is that if you're in some obscure platform and people are searching, they're not going to find you. I mean, you don't, generally speaking, you don't find a lot of stuff on Etsy on a Google search if you put in aromatherapy. What you will come up with is Amazon, bang, will be at the top of the page. But in our situation, now we've got people who are coming back, but before it was completely reliant on Google, like somebody just going in and going big sign letters. So, you know, we ended up buying bigsignletters.com, large sign letters, movie theater marquee letters, all of those. So no matter what you put in, you would come up, and then Google changed the whole thing and kicked us in the teeth, and we've had to rebuild a new way to do it. But another thing is, you know, and there's a lot of strength here, and the reason Our Town Belfast is going to do this Shop Belfast site, so that you can go to Our Town Belfast. If you're Belfast, Maine, you don't have to track down City Drawers or Left Bank Books or whatever it is. We're going to have it so that if you want to shop will be like the main street online, and we want to get it on other places as well. But you know, it's really easy to get, and maybe to Susan, what you were talking about with the Facebook, that going back and forth where you put on a promotion and then that brings you to the website, or you go to the website and you get another promotion. So how do you guys get found?
Use your friends.
Yeah. Well, I have a shop on Etsy, and Etsy, it's a vintage shop, which they only do vintage and handmade things. And I sell to people all over the world because they have 7 million shoppers. They aren't going to Google. They already know they want something vintage or handmade, or there's a lot of photography on there, and they are shopping right on that site, and they don't shop other places. So I sell, you know, all over the world. In Europe, they're crazy about American kitsch. So I sell a lot of some Pyrex to France and stuff.
Also, doing a Google search, I mean, wouldn't that lead perhaps like to my website, which would then be connected to Etsy? So they're not going directly to Etsy, they're going to my website, and then if they want to order something, they're going to click, and that's
Is your
Etsy.
site
No.
a Yahoo store, or is it yourname.com or whatever? Is it
It's my business name, yeah.
.com? You own the URL?
.com.
Then, yeah,
Can I show you?
So people actually do
Sure.
find my site, they just don't order because
yeah.
they don't want to, because it's too hard.
I guess in my case, Mike, I'm not going to sell to the rest of the world. Mine's everyday products. Nobody in Boston is going to look to Belfast Office Supply for an office product that they can get across the street or online at one of the other national companies. So slow, arduous, slogging process, and some of you here may be hearing from me some more. I'm trying to call on people and tell them one-on-one, my market is right here in Waldo County, and maybe Knox County, try to put there, you know. And my objectives, I think, are a bit different than Ellie's. God bless your site, I like it. You know, I'm trying to find a way to deal with. There aren't very many office supply stores left in the country. A lot of independents, but they're not small like we are, and we're trying to service a local market against some of the big boys. And so I'm trying to let people know that we have this convenience, it's local, it's competitive, we'll deliver in the local area. And so it's been more one-on-one at this point, and showing people how to take advantage of the site. The next step is trying to encourage more use.
I wanted to ask a question about social media. I early on, friended anyone who wanted to friend me, and it turned out fairly soon I started getting what seemed to me like ads from all these people that I had friended, and it was like I started getting annoyed with the whole thing. I was friends with the person at the Grasshopper shop. That didn't mean I wanted to get like flyers from them in my, so I was wondering, is there any possibility that you can get a backlash from people who like feel annoyed that you're using, that you kind of like trying to sell to me when I'm not really interested in that?
I just want to answer because in the movie business, we use Facebook a lot. I got this very intense letter about a movie called Obama 2016, which is a very negative film about Obama. And I made the mistake of like saying something back, like, and I literally, because for me, I'm kind of pro-Obama. This person was very anti-Obama. Before I unplugged it, literally had to stop it, there were like hundreds of people from all over the country like attacking me, and they were getting attacked. It was a total war. So can negative stuff come out of Facebook? Yeah. And what I learned is from Chick-fil-A and me, keep your mouth shut about your business. You know, are you in business to carry on? But I don't know. I don't see those ads.
I enjoy getting. I'm a Facebook friend of the theater, and I enjoy. Oh, this is what's coming up. I enjoy when Dee puts up a few things, and I've set up Facebook pages for people, and I tell them, try to put out something that has a benefit to the community. Like I tell the yoga studio to put out nice quotes that makes people feel good and feel good about their health and stuff. And not just try to say, come in and come, you know. And so it has to be that. And if things aren't that, if it's just an ad or they're just trying to, then, you know, there's a little button. Unlike buy, hide feed.
Yeah, I mean, I think that when you are going into Facebook, you really have to be on the page every single day, and you want to, as you're saying, not just put up things that are commercially what you're doing. I think that maybe one post out of 8 that I put on my page, it has something to do with inviting somebody to look at a product or, you know, buy something, and all the rest is more about like animals get a lot of hits, you know, like I put up a YouTube thing of these 3 bear cubs falling into a dumpster, and somebody comes driving up with and drops a ladder down into it, and these cubs come up out of the dumpster, and I got the most hits I've ever gotten on anything, and it was on my Green Store page. And I have had occasionally some, I've never had a negative comment on the Green Store page, but I have on my Morningstar Midwifery page, and you do have control as the administrator to get rid of that comment and to unlike somebody. But I've basically made my network as broad as I can. I was able to get 240 friends within the first 2 months of my site by mostly using my own personal social network and just people who knew me and liked my store, and it just went out really quickly. So I think Facebook is very powerful, and the last thing I just wanted to say about it is my marketing person said we can make a landing pad into Facebook from the website, and so if you click on the website, like me on Facebook, it goes to a landing pad, which is a page that is sort of this collage of everything that the Green Store is about. It's an ad kind of for the Green Store, and you click like me, you know, right there, and then it takes you into the Facebook page. And that's been a great tool. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really, I wouldn't have known how to do it, but she did.
Trying to summarize what I'm hearing, I hear 2 kinds of things, or I'm seeing 2 experiences. One, Carl, for example, or Ellie, where you have an extraordinarily unique, very attractive product. Another, probably Terry, and I'm probably more like Terry's business. I don't have a unique, extraordinarily beautiful product, and I can't compete on price. Okay, so some of you are competing on uniqueness. The other avenue, it would seem to me, if I compare myself to Amazon, is I compete on price. I can't compete on price, and I'm not unique. But I'm wondering if, as I summarize it this way, you would tell me I'm missing something, and I can think that there's a customer convenience factor, and people do email us and call us, but maybe they would like, in fact, to be able to somehow see our inventory and click online and not have to talk to us. I don't know that for sure. I do have some unique products, but I couldn't tell you about them without putting all my inventory online and describing it. So, I mean, just at a very gross level, if I'm not a unique product, and if I can't compete on price, how much further should I think about this opportunity?
I don't sell a unique product either. You could call up some dude in India and he'll work for you for $5. Why would you pay me? I'm one of thousands of people who design websites. I don't have a unique product either, you know, so I understand what you're saying. But people will buy from you, and that's the power of the internet. You don't have to have a unique product, you just have to be a unique person. And you can convey that online. So I don't want you to think that you don't have something to offer. It's just a different way to frame it. Because you don't have to be the cheapest, and you don't have to be the craziest. There's someone who will still buy books or something.
Looking out here, and what I'm seeing is, here's Dee's store and Brian and the bike shop and Karna's and yours and the wood shop. These are all intensely curated stores. These are collections of goods and services, wrapped in a feeling when you go into those stores. They're intensely personal, and that is what people want to buy from. Not everybody. Some people just want to go to Walmart and get it cheap, as cheap as they can, but people are dying to buy in your shops. You have to make it easier for them to do that.
I think that's what I was trying to make evident with showing around what my
I felt like I was in your store when I was looking at your stuff.
Yeah, good. Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
That's what I want.
Nicole, can you talk a little about Google searchability? And also, one of the questions I had was about Google Analytics and how to track, like, how well your website is doing and who you're reaching.
Okay, sure. So the three things that I think search engines like a lot are links coming into your site. Links, frequently updated content, so having your site change. That's why a lot of people put blogs on their site. And having words that people are looking for on your site. So links coming into your site, content that's frequently updated, and words that people are looking for on your site. Those are all things that search engines like a lot, and that's a big reason that a lot of people stick a blog on a website, is because it does all those things. When you write a blog, you're writing with words that people are looking for. When you have a blog, it is frequently updated. When you write a blog, there are links coming back into that blog as people, share blog posts, or the blog posts go online to the universe. So that's like a really easy, I would say it's easy. It's a relatively easy thing to do to get more traffic to your website, just add a blog kind of feature to it. In terms of Google Analytics, when you're looking at your Google Analytics, and I don't know if you want to pull, I don't know if anybody here has Google Analytics, or you want to pull mine up, but there's basically, it gives you a little pie chart, and it says how people are getting to your site. People can directly get to your site, so by typing in the URL or clicking on, the link in your signature of your email or something. There's people who get to your site from search engines like Google or Yahoo, and there are people who get to your website from referring websites. So
and I've got Yelp up right now.
Right.
So if you think people are not looking at this stuff, this is Yelp is a place where people make reviews about. So they just come to town and they go, "Where's a good place to eat?" You want to read how many? You can't see.
41 reviews for Chase.
41 reviews, and I know for a fact under shopping, I can't remember. It's Yo Mama's. I'm sorry, I can't see how to get over to shopping, but anyway, these places are Yelp and TripAdvisor. People new in town are, and I mean new as in, I sent out an email about this to everybody. I had a friend who went 12,000 miles this year. They drove all the way out west, all the way up north, all the way back. Every inch of the way, they figured out where they were going to be in about an hour and would stop for lunch based on Yelp and TripAdvisor. They would decide what town to stay in by like, well, that's about an hour, 2 hours up there. What do they got? What's good to do there? So,
first thing that caught my eye there, mostly because I'm missing Taco Tuesday to be here tonight, is $20 for $40 deal at Rolly's Cafe, Belfast, Maine. I don't know how they got that there, but someone at Rolly's is doing their job because.
Well, these are.
You can do a Yelp deal, and they actually take like.
All right.
You have to do a certain percentage, like off. To get a Yelp, it has to be like a pretty good discount for you to get it. I believe it has to be like over 40%, maybe over 50%.
They do deal chicken too, and it's that same
I'm not gonna
right,
show you.
but Yelp takes like 30%.
I gotta do some homework.
Yeah.
I'm not
So
up
in
there at
addition to
all.
you offering the discount, Yelp takes a cut too. So it's a good way to get new people in the door, but it's certainly not a long term. It's a good way to get new people to try you, maybe if they're on the fence, but it's I wouldn't necessarily use it as a long-term strategy.
Yelp isn't a good example of shopping because it's really more about food, but you know, Left Bank is #1 with 4 reviews total, so, you know, but.
Well, I think there's a lot of people on these sites that look at the reviews, but there's not relatively few who contribute.
Yeah.
I'm a Yelper. I did my whole vacation on Yelp. I just took this past weekend. So I write reviews too. I don't write reviews for anyone I do work for though. So.
And you're allowed to manage your reviews. If you go in, if you've ever written a bum review about anything on any of these, often you'll get an email from the company, you know, like the hotel, and go, we're sorry you had a bad time. Can we straighten it out, get you to adjust it? Or you can also go in and say, those people, we tried everything, we couldn't make them happy, you know, so it's really worth watching what people are saying about you and keeping an eye on it yourself.
A really simple thing to do is to just set up a Google alert for your business. So if you go to google.com/alerts, you put in your business name, and you can pick whether you want them to email you once a day or as it happens. And you can just kind of get notified when you hear your business name get talked about. I'll let you know that if you have the same business as another business in some other state or something, you might notice at first you're getting a lot of like, oh, there must be the exact same thing in Richmond, Virginia. So what you can do is you can have your business name, and then in the search, and you can write -Richmond. So for example, I have one for Nicole Willett, and I guess there's a really good lacrosse person named Nicole Willett. And I was getting all these lacrosse scores, and it really annoyed me. So I put Nicole Willett -lacrosse, because I don't play lacrosse, I don't have to worry about that.
I have to do -Ireland for the ones I'm getting now.
Yeah.
Now that you mentioned that, I know how to stop getting updates about events happening in Belfast, Ireland.
Yeah.
I don't know why this didn't come up here, but I just Googled this, and normally, oh, okay, maybe it's that we're supposed to be in news. So it's actually a news. So right here, if you look down below, it's like say you Google yourself under news, and then it comes up, if you look right here, create an email alert. So if that means that if somebody posts City Drawers, Belfast, Maine, on anything, you know, and you can see it's got it in news, or if you put it on everything, you put in your email, and you can see Nicole's is down here.
Yeah, and so, I'm logged into this meeting right now.
Somebody goes on, writes something about you, bang, you get it.
Yeah. So, but it's just kind of a way that if someone would like write, maybe they visited your gallery and they wrote a blog about it when they got back home to wherever, you know, you'll hear about it. I did that to a winery I went to in where was I? God, Portland, Oregon, and the winery wrote to me, and I was so touched. So yeah, they're like, oh, I just have a Google alert set up.
That's great. People blog about our public art benches that we have in town a lot, and now I know how to find out when that happens.
Yeah.
Instead of just like once in a while I'll hear about it because someone will email us or tell someone in town like we took pictures and we put it up on our blog, and I'll eventually find it. But I can get alerts for that.
Yeah, I think Terry, you will remember. I can't remember what it was, but Jay Davis, as a reporter, was writing something about Belfast, and he mentioned a company, like by name, a Skidoo. He just said, like as if all snowmobiles were Skidoos. And like 5 minutes later, he gets a phone call from Skidoo. Like, would you please change that because we're not all, so it's
a brand name.
People are very much on it. So we've run over 25 minutes, and I just want to say thank you guys for coming, and thank you all.
And if any of you have feedback on tonight's event, please get